Shadow of the Colossus. It's like one of those rare experiences that just sticks with you long after you're done playing. The whole concept is so simple, but so powerful. You're just this guy trying to save someone you love. And the only way to do it is by taking down these massive colossi. There's no filler, no random enemies, no side quest. It's just you, your horse, and these gigantic creatures scattered across this lonely, mysterious land. And honestly, that simplicity is what makes it so impactful. Every fight feels epic, and the quiet moments between each battle just hit different. The colossi themselves are incredible. Each one feels like a puzzle in its own right. It's not just about slashing away at some big monster. You've got to figure out how to climb them, where their weak points are, and how to use the environment to your advantage. I remember the first time I saw one of those things. It's just so big. You feel so small and insignificant. And then when you finally manage to climb up and take it down, it's such an intense feeling. But at the same time, there's this weird sadness that comes with it, like you're not sure if what you're doing is really the right thing. I also love how the story is told in such a subtle way. There's not a lot of dialogue or cutscenes, but the emotions are all there. You can just feel Wander's desperation and determination, even though he barely says a word. And as the game progresses, you start to notice the toll that killing these colossi is taking on him. It's not just a straightforward hero's journey. There's a price to pay. The first Berserker, Kaza. It's a fascinating dive into a world of pure, unrelenting combat and raw survival instincts. It's not just a game about fighting. It's about embracing the essence of being a berserker, where every move, every decision, feels like it's carved straight from a stone tablet of ancient, primal intensity. It doesn't care about holding your hand or sugarcoating the brutality. Instead, it throws you into its world with all the grace of a boulder tumbling down a mountain. At its core, Kaza is a journey about mastering the art of combat. The gameplay revolves around a dynamic melee system that rewards precision and timing. You're not just mashing buttons here. Every strike, parry, and counter feels like a deliberate act of dominance. The game gives you weapons that feel heavy and impactful, with each one tailored to a specific style of play. The dual axes, for example, are for those who want to go wild with unrelenting attacks, while the massive two-handed hammer is all about raw, crushing power. The environments in Kaza are built to challenge you at every turn. The terrain itself becomes part of the experience. Rocky cliffs, dense forests, and ancient ruins are more than just backdrops. They're part of the gameplay. Whether you're navigating narrow paths or using the environment to outsmart your foes, there's a sense of constant interaction with the world. It feels alive, dangerous, and completely unforgiving. Still Wakes the Deep. At first, I wasn't sure what to expect. An oil rig in the middle of the ocean doesn't exactly scream horror, right? But once I started playing, I realized how wrong I was. It nails that sense of isolation and dread right from the beginning. The setting is perfect for a game like this. You're stuck on this creaky, unstable structure, surrounded by nothing but endless water. It gives you this eerie, sinking feeling, pun intended, that something horrible is going to happen. The atmosphere is what really grabbed me. From the second you step onto that rig, you can feel the tension. Everything is dark and claustrophobic, with narrow hallways, low ceilings, and machinery clanking all around you. The sound of the ocean crashing against the metal walls is always there, adding this constant layer of anxiety. Every time I turned a corner, I half expected something to jump out. And while the game definitely delivers on scares, it's the psychological tension that kept me on edge. The whole premise is pretty cool too. You play as one of the workers on the rig, just a regular guy, and it makes the experience feel more grounded. You're not some action hero with a gun. You're just trying to survive and figure out what's happening. The game does an amazing job of slowly building up the mystery. You start hearing strange noises, seeing things out of the corner of your eye, and the rig itself feels like it's coming alive. It really gets in your head. The story is mysterious, and I loved uncovering the truth little by little. Aliens Fireteam Elite. If you're a fan of the Aliens franchise, or even just into fast-paced multiplayer shooters, this game is such a ride. Cold Iron Studios really captured the whole being stuck in a xenomorph nightmare feeling. The second that motion tracker starts beeping, with those little blips getting closer, it's like an instant panic button. It really nails that alien's tension, but in a fun, adrenaline-packed way. The multiplayer is honestly where this game shines. Whether you're rolling with friends or hopping in with randoms, the teamwork is key. And when the xenomorphs come flooding in from every angle, walls, ceilings, vents, it's pure chaos. But in a good way. Every firefight is intense, and it feels so satisfying when you survive a wave with your team by your side. I had a blast trying out the different classes. At first, I was all about the gunner, just laying down fire. But once I switched to the technician and started dropping turrets, it was game-changing. Each class has its own strengths, and when everyone's working together, it's like this perfect mix of strategy and mayhem. The levels are awesome too. You're moving through these dark industrial corridors, alien hives, and abandoned stations. It feels just like stepping into the aliens' universe. And while the xenomorphs are the main threat, they throw in some surprises, like synthetic enemies, which keeps things interesting and adds some variety to the combat. The progression system kept me hooked too. Code Vein. You're thrown into a post-apocalyptic world where humanity has taken a back seat, and beings called revenants, basically superpowered humans with a thirst for blood, are struggling to keep it together. The kicker? You're one of them. That means you've got abilities and strengths that make you feel like an absolute powerhouse. But there's always a price to pay. This constant balancing act between unleashing your potential and managing your limits is one of the most intriguing aspects of the game. What really sets Code Vein apart is how much control it gives you. This is not a one-size-fits-all experience. From the moment you start, you're shaping your character to be exactly who you want them to be. Want to wield massive swords and crush enemies with brute force? Go for it. Prefer a faster, more agile approach? You can do that too. And it doesn't stop at weapons. Your blood code, basically your character's skill set, lets you completely change your playstyle on the fly. You're not locked into one way of playing, which is great because it encourages experimentation. Every fight becomes an opportunity to try something new, to push your limits, and to see what works best. Combat in Code Vein is where the magic happens. It's not just about mashing buttons and hoping for the best. No, this game wants you to think, to strategize. Every enemy feels like a challenge, but not in an unfair way. Timing, positioning, and knowing when to go all in or when to back off are key. Bleak Faith. Forsaken. Diving into this game feels like stepping into a colossal maze, where every corridor, bridge, and stairway stretches endlessly. The environment is vast and interconnected, offering a sense of scale that's both impressive and overwhelming. Navigating through this world requires patience and a keen sense of direction, as the paths often twist and turn in unexpected ways. Combat is deliberate and requires careful timing. Each encounter demands attention, with enemies that can be unforgiving if underestimated. The mechanics are straightforward, but mastering them takes practice. Dodging, blocking, and striking at the right moment becomes second nature as you progress. Exploration is a significant aspect, with numerous hidden areas and secrets waiting to be discovered. The world is designed to encourage curiosity, rewarding those who take the time to venture off the beaten path. However, some areas may feel repetitive or lack clear direction, which can lead to moments of frustration. The game offers a variety of weapons and equipment, allowing for customization to suit different playstyles. Experimenting with different gear combinations can lead to new strategies and approaches to combat. Upgrading equipment and finding the right balance between offense and defense adds depth to the gameplay. While the game has its challenges, it also has moments of brilliance. The Expanse, a Telltale series. This one is for anyone who's into deep space, tough decisions, and a little bit of mystery. The game is set in the world of The Expanse, and if you're already a fan of the series, you're in for a real treat. You get to step into the boots of Kamina Drummer, who's an awesome character from the show, and navigate your way through the intense, high-stakes life aboard a scavenger ship in the asteroid belt. The gameplay is all about making decisions that impact not just the story, but the relationships between you and your crew. And trust me, you'll want to pay attention to every conversation and action, because the choices are big and have consequences. This game is a lot like the other Telltale titles you might know. Lots of dialogue, quick decisions, and that deep emotional storytelling. But The Expanse brings in some cool twists. Zero-gravity environments are a huge part of the experience, So you're not just walking around like you would in any other game. You're floating, using mag boots, and having to adjust to movement that feels more like you're actually in space, which is honestly a great touch. It's not just about talking to characters and choosing what to say. It's about navigating these intense, disorienting situations where every action feels a little more dangerous and impactful. One of the best parts of the game is how your choices shape everything. It's not just about picking what you think sounds good in the moment. You'll be making decisions that seriously affect how things play out for the crew. Big Helmet Heroes, a 3D beat-em-up game that's all about action, teamwork, and having a blast with your friends. It's got this quirky charm that pulls you in right away. You'll get to control a team of 29 heroes, each with their own cool powers, as you fight your way through fun, challenging battles. The game is built for co-op play, which means you and a friend can jump in together and tackle everything the game throws at you. Whether you're teaming up to take down hordes of enemies or just having fun experimenting with different heroes, it's a game that encourages working together. The combat is fast-paced and satisfying, with each hero offering something unique, so you can mix up your strategy to keep things fresh. One of the best parts about Big Helmet Heroes is how accessible it is. You don't need to be a pro gamer to jump in and enjoy it. The gameplay is straightforward and fun, with just enough challenge to keep you hooked without feeling like you're stuck. It's one of those games where you can pick up and play for a few minutes or dive in for longer sessions, and it's always enjoyable. The hero lineup is full of personality, with each character bringing something special to the table. Whether you're into fast and nimble fighters or characters who can take a beating, there's something for everyone. The variety keeps the gameplay interesting, and switching between different heroes to find the one that suits your playstyle is part of the fun. With the game being designed for both solo and co-op play, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's a sequel to Deus Ex Human Revolution, and it builds on everything that made that game great. Right off the bat, the world is what draws you in. It's set in a future where people with cybernetic enhancements, or AUGs, are treated like outcasts, and it really dives into these deep themes of segregation and oppression. You play as Adam Jensen, who's basically the coolest, most badass augmented human ever. He's got all these crazy high-tech upgrades that you can customize, and that's one of the best things about the game. It lets you play the way you want. Whether you're sneaking through vents like a ghost, hacking every terminal in sight, or going full-on combat mode with guns blazing, the choice is yours. The game doesn't force you down a certain path, and I love that freedom. The prog setting is dark, gritty, and packed with detail. It's a world that feels alive, with all these little stories happening around you. Every corner you turn, there's something to discover, whether it's a side mission, a hidden path, or just some cool piece of lore that fleshes out the world even more. The attention to detail is top-notch. The story itself is complex and layered, dealing with conspiracies, political intrigue, and moral choices. What makes Mankind Divided stand out for me is how immersive the experience is. You get so wrapped up in Jensen's world. Aliens: Dark Descent, a game that takes the intense, nerve-wracking universe of Aliens and blends it with some seriously engaging tactical gameplay. You're commanding a squad of Marines, and your mission is to survive. Sound simple? It's anything but. This is a tactical squad-based game where every decision feels like it could mean life or death. The best part? It's not just about running and gunning, although you'll definitely get your fair share of intense combat. It's about planning, strategy, and making the best of a terrifyingly unpredictable situation. Each mission has you exploring these atmospheric, tightly designed environments, where danger is literally around every corner. You're not just fighting xenomorphs either. There are other threats waiting to throw your plans into chaos, and it's up to you to adapt. Do you press on and risk everything for a key objective, or do you retreat to fight another day? Every choice feels weighty, and that tension keeps you hooked. What's super cool is how the game balances real-time action with tactical pause moments. When things get hairy, and they will, you can slow down the action to issue orders to your squad. As you play, your squad gains experience, new abilities, and better gear, which gives you more tools to deal with the escalating challenges. But there's also a sense of fragility. These are humans, not superheroes. Losing a Marine is a big deal, and it makes every choice feel important. Slime Rancher 2. It's a game of exploration, ranch management, and, of course, slime wrangling. You're armed with a trusty vac-pack, a magical tool that lets you suck up slimes, resources, and just about anything else that isn't nailed down. The goal? Build the most efficient, sprawling, and downright delightful ranch you can, while uncovering all the mysteries this world has to offer. Let's talk about the slimes, because, honestly, they're the stars of the show. These little blobs aren't just your typical farm animals. They're living, bouncing puzzles that demand your attention. Each type of slime has its quirks, needs, and, let's be real, moods. Some are chill and easy to manage, while others will test your ranching skills with their wild antics. Oh, and don't get me started on the combinations. Mixing slimes to create hybrids can lead to some of the most unexpected and hilarious moments. But watch out, you might also accidentally unleash a slimy catastrophe if you're not careful. One of the most satisfying parts of Slime Rancher 2 is how it balances creativity and strategy. You're not just collecting slimes for the sake of it. You're building a fully functioning ranch. Think about how to organize your corrals, upgrade your equipment, and manage resources. Do you focus on maximizing profits with high-value plorts? Yes, that's what their resources are called. Or prioritize creating a ranch that looks like a pastel dream. The choice is yours, and there's no wrong way to play. Exploration is another huge part of the game. Pummel Party. This is the ultimate mix of friendship, chaos, and straight-up mayhem. Pummel Party throws you and your crew into a board game-style battleground where every turn is an opportunity to outsmart, sabotage, or just outright obliterate your opponents. It's a game where alliances are temporary, betrayals are inevitable, and no one is safe from the chaos. The game starts with a board that looks innocent enough, but don't let that fool you. Every space you land on has the potential to change the game completely, whether it's gifting you some much-needed health or throwing you into a situation that will have everyone laughing or screaming. The dice rolls dictate your path, but it's your choices and your timing that can turn the tide in your favor. What sets Pummel Party apart is the arsenal of absolutely ridiculous weapons and tools at your disposal. Whether it's a boxing glove that can knock someone halfway across the board, or a beehive swarm that hunts down your friends, every item feels over the top and perfectly designed to ruin someone's day in the best way possible. You're not just rolling dice. You're plotting how to use these weapons to climb to the top or drag everyone else down with you. The minigames are the heart and soul of Pummel Party. After each turn, you dive into a competition that could be anything from dodging obstacles to collecting items or just beating each other up. These minigames are fast-paced, chaotic, and often wildly unpredictable. Remnant 2. If you've ever thought, I want Dark Souls but with guns, this is literally the game for you. The best part is how they mix that tough, Souls-like gameplay with co-op. Like, you're dodging and weaving through boss fights with your friends. What I didn't expect was how varied the worlds are this time around. You're not just in some post-apocalyptic setting. You're hopping between dimensions, and each one feels so distinct. One second, you're in this creepy, gothic forest, and the next, you're in this futuristic sci-fi city battling weird robotic enemies. The variety keeps things feeling fresh. Like you're never sure what the game's gonna throw at you next. Speaking of enemies, oh man, they do not mess around in this game. Every time you enter a new area, you get this uneasy feeling like, okay, what's gonna try to kill me here? And the bosses? Don't even get me started. They're so creative and challenging. It's like a new puzzle every time you face one. You're constantly trying to figure out the patterns, the weak spots, and how to stay alive. It's tough, but in a way that makes you want to keep trying. You know that feeling when a boss wipes the floor with you for the 10th time, but you finally crack it, and you just feel like a god? That's what Remnant 2 is all about. I think what really hooked me, though, is the way the game encourages you to try different builds. You've got these archetypes, right? And each one changes how you approach combat. Like, do you want to be the tanky guy, soaking up hits, or the guy running around sniping from the back? You can switch it up mid-game, too. Metal Hellsinger. If you've ever wished Doom had more rhythm and a killer soundtrack that makes you want to headbang mid-game, you're in for a ride. First off, the concept is pure genius. It's a rhythm-based first-person shooter. Yeah, you heard me. Rhythm and shooting. You're in the middle of a demon-infested hellscape, blasting away with a shotgun or swinging some other deadly weapon, and you've got to time your attacks to the beat of this insane heavy metal music. Sounds chaotic? It absolutely is. But it's the good kind of chaos, the kind that makes you feel like a total rock star. Now, let me be honest, the first time I jumped into the game, I thought, I've played shooters before, this will be easy. Nope. The rhythm mechanic hit me like a brick wall. You can't just spam the fire button and hope for the best. You've got to listen, feel the beat, and sync your movements. It's kind of like dancing. If dancing involved destroying legions of demons with a flaming skull companion whispering ominous things in your ear. But when it clicks, oh man, it's euphoric. You're dodging attacks, timing your shots perfectly, and suddenly the music starts layering. The vocals kick in when you're hitting your groove, and it feels like the entire world is cheering you on. I caught myself grinning like a maniac more times than I'd like to admit. What I really appreciate about Metal Hellsinger is how it keeps you coming back. Even if you finish a level, you're going to want to replay it. Not just to get a better score, but because the gameplay loop is so addictive. It's like this perfect mix of challenge and reward. Journey. Journey isn't here to lecture you or make you solve impossible puzzles. Instead, it's all about the simple joy of exploration and connection, with a little mystery sprinkled in for good measure. This is a quiet, reflective kind of adventure, where every step feels like it has meaning. You start as a cloaked figure standing in the middle of a vast desert, and ahead of you in the distance is a mountain. That's it. Your goal is clear. Reach that mountain. But how you get there and what you discover along the way is where the magic happens. What makes Journey special is its simplicity. There's no clutter, no endless menus, no complicated mechanics, no overwhelming tutorials. The game trusts you to figure things out as you go, and it's designed in a way that feels completely natural. You move, you explore, and you interact with the world in a way that feels intuitive. Even if you're new to games, it's almost like the game is gently guiding you without ever making it obvious. One of the coolest things about Journey is how it handles connection. At some point during your playthrough, you might notice another figure wandering the desert. A figure just like you. This isn't an NPC or a random AI. It's another player, somewhere out in the world, experiencing the same journey you are. You don't know their name, you can't send them messages, and there's no chat box. Instead, you communicate in the simplest way possible, through actions and little chirps of sound. Maneater. Instead of being the hero saving the day, or the anti-hero causing chaos, you're a shark. Yes, an actual shark. But not just any shark. Maneater lets you be the most fearsome apex predator in the ocean. The premise is as ridiculous as it is brilliant. You're swimming around as a bull shark, eating, evolving, and tearing through anything that gets in your way. But here's the kicker. It's not just about mindless chomping, although there's plenty of that, and it's incredibly satisfying. The game has this clever, almost satirical tone that pokes fun at itself and the world you're exploring. You start as a small, scrappy shark pup, but as you chow down on fish, humans, and other sea creatures, you grow. And I don't just mean you get bigger. Oh no, this game takes evolution to a whole new level. As you progress, you unlock upgrades that transform you into an absolute aquatic powerhouse. Want electrified jaws? Done. Armor plating? Sure, why not? By the time you're fully upgraded, you feel like a living, breathing oceanic weapon. What's really cool is how the game combines exploration and combat. The world of Maneater is divided into different regions, each with its own challenges and unique wildlife. One moment you're gliding through serene waters, and the next you're in a heated battle with an alligator or a group of aggressive humans who aren't too thrilled about a giant shark crashing their beach party. So, if you're in the mood for a game that lets you unleash your inner predator and wreak havoc in the most entertaining way possible, Deathloop. It's one of those games that hooks you in so effortlessly, it's like the game itself knows exactly what you're craving as a player. Imagine this. You're Colt, waking up on a weird, wild island called Black Reef. You're stuck in this insane time loop that resets every day, so whatever happens, whether you mess up, get taken out, or succeed at something, it's all getting reset. Groundhog Day style. At first, I'll admit I thought, oh man, a time loop? This might get repetitive. But Deathloop manages to pull it off brilliantly. The loop mechanic is far from a gimmick. It's the core of the entire experience, and the game handles it so well that it becomes this awesome, almost addictive puzzle you really want to solve. So, the big goal is to break the loop. And to do that, you have to take down 8 targets, called visionaries, all in one single day. The twist? They're scattered all over Black Reef, and each one has their own unique routine and stronghold. It's a bit like a murder mystery, where you are both the detective and the hitman. And here's where it gets cool. The game encourages you to explore, try new tactics, and yes, fail. But every failure teaches you something important about the world and the people in it. Now, one of the best parts of Deathloop has to be the main antagonist, Juliana. She's this sassy, relentless assassin who's trying to stop you from breaking the loop. Colt and Juliana feel like real people with history. The game also throws in some fun twists with powers and weapons. You get these abilities that feel a bit like Dishonored. Total chaos. This game takes survival horror to another level, throwing players into the eerie, decaying ruins of Fort Oasis. The island is abandoned, its past buried under layers of mystery, and every step deeper into its remains only raises more unsettling discoveries. The atmosphere is thick with tension, making every dark hallway, every abandoned structure, and every sudden noise feel like a threat. Survival is the heart of the experience. There are no guns to rely on, just whatever can be crafted or scavenged. A wrench, a makeshift axe, or anything that can be turned into a weapon becomes a lifeline. Supplies are scarce, and every encounter demands a choice. Fight with what little remains or run, and hope for another chance later. The game forces careful management of resources, making every decision feel important. Enemies aren't just mindless obstacles. They learn and adapt, making each fight unpredictable. Patterns shift, behaviors change, and what worked before might not work again. The AI keeps every battle fresh, making combat more than just swinging a weapon. Strategy matters, and improvisation becomes essential. The world isn't just about horror, it's about discovery. The deeper players go, the more the island reveals. There's an entire ecosystem at play, with environments ranging from forgotten graveyards to abandoned prisons, each telling a piece of Fort Oasis's history. Even in the moments between action, there's always something to find. The 7 Deadly Sins Origin. This game takes you straight into a dynamic world brimming with action, adventure, and a unique flair that stands out. It's all about exploring a realm where every corner feels alive with purpose, every detail pulling you deeper into the experience. The game introduces a vast, open world that feels handcrafted for discovery. Each region is distinct, filled with elements that make it more than just a backdrop. The landscapes are alive, and there's a real sense of progression as you navigate through various terrains and interact with the world in unexpected ways. The characters are the heart of the game, each bringing their own unique abilities and quirks into play. The focus is on teamwork and synergy, with a gameplay system that encourages you to think about how to combine their strengths. This isn't about just picking favorites, it's about understanding what each character adds to the mix, and using that to your advantage. Combat in the 7 Deadly Sins feels fluid and responsive, with a variety of abilities that keep battles fresh. It's less about button mashing and more about strategic planning, figuring out the best ways to approach different enemies and scenarios. Exploration is seamlessly integrated into the gameplay, with plenty of rewarding detours and surprises. The game is designed to encourage curiosity, with hidden areas and challenges that feel like they belong in this world. It's the kind of environment where taking a moment to look around often pays off in ways that feel rewarding. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days. You know when you dive into a zombie game and you're bracing yourself for the same old storylines and tropes? Forget that here. This game takes a bold step in a completely fresh direction. Our Darkest Days puts you in the middle of Texas during the early days of a zombie apocalypse, and it's a side-scrolling survival game. I know, a 2D perspective might make you think it's limited in scope, but the way this game builds tension, atmosphere, and stakes with that view is absolutely genius. The gameplay is survival-focused, which means scavenging for supplies, managing resources, and making tough decisions. And I do mean tough. The game doesn't hold your hand, and that's what makes it so satisfying. Every choice you make feels significant, whether it's deciding which supplies to grab or what risks to take. There's this constant weight to your actions. What's brilliant, though, is how the game nails this balance between challenge and accessibility. It's not overwhelming, but It's not forgiving either. You'll have moments where you're barely scraping by, and then something clicks, an item you find or a plan that works, and you feel like a total genius. It's that kind of gameplay loop that keeps you coming back for more. The game doesn't just throw zombies at you, it throws moral dilemmas and emotional punches. Whether you're a fan of survival games, love a gripping story, or just want something fresh in the zombie genre, this game is an absolute must-play.